A 1 versus 2 showdown, a battle of unbeatens, a playoff picture comes into focus, and some postseason hopes finally fall flat. All that coming tonight on Eastern Iowa OT, the final week of the regular season football for 8-man up through Class 2A. That is coming up later in the show. But first, Iowa City West and Prairie. This might be the matchup in 5A tonight that carries the most postseason drama. West is likely in no matter what happens, but could lock up a playoff home game with a road win at John Wall Field. Prairie, on the other hand, at 4-3, the Hawks really cannot afford another loss, especially when they're going on the road to an up-and-coming Dubuque senior team next week. But a win for the P-Hawks, and they'll likely lock down a seat at the table in the 5A playoff picture. A lot riding on this one on the south side. Got a few future Hawkeyes in the starting lineups between David Faison, Colin Witters, and Juju Manson meeting there at midfield. Prairie starts things off in the first on an 80-yard drive, capped off by Faison on the 7-yard touchdown run. It's 7-0 P-Hawks leading. West starts to get his defense going late in the first. This ball is tipped and intercepted by Ethan Headings. The West offense, they'd go on a long drive there in the second quarter, and Reese Wheeler plunges in for the 1-yard score, and we are tied up at 7. More offense out of the Trojans. Wheeler will find a wide-open Henry Elser on the deep bomb at 70 yards to the house, and a 14-7 lead now for West. The P-Hawks would actually return the following kickoff for a touchdown, so we're tied at 14, and the Trojans are back on offense. 2 receivers in the same area, and Juju Manson comes away with it for another 70-yard touchdown for a second straight drive. It's 21-14 Trojans. The Hawks respond late in the second quarter, though. Quarterback Cale Conshaw finds Tay Alexander across the middle, and he finds his way in for the touchdown. We're now tied 21 apiece. We go to the third quarter now. It's Conshaw again. Look at this beautiful pass. He finds Drew Bennis, who keeps his feet inbounds along the sideline. It's a touchdown for Prairie, and it is a win for the P-Hawks, 45-31 over West. Their 5th straight win over the Trojans, and we may be seeing both of these teams playing postseason football in a couple of weeks. The greatest trophy known to man, the battle for Zeus, on the field tonight between City High and Liberty. The Bolts have won 3 straight in the series and trying to build some RPI points before the playoff matchups come out. Lightning strikes early in the first quarter. The pitch to Pryor Reiners. Sweeps it out to the sideline for the touchdown to put the Bolts on the board. But after getting that first win last week, City High is playing with some juice. Chris Kabiza upstairs to chase Newton across the goal line. And they've got this game tied up. Let's go to the second quarter. Liberty's up 10-7 after a field goal and now back in the red zone. This is the Reddig red zone. Reese Reddig keeps the rock on the option, guns it right up the middle for another score. Kabiza trying to keep City High in this thing. He lobs it upstairs, looking for Newton again, but is picked off by Adrian Clary. He can see clearly now down the sideline for a pick 6. The Bolts are back. This Liberty senior class has kept that Zeus trophy all 4 years of high school. The Lightning will close out the regular season next Friday at home against Muscatine. After an 0-4 start to the season, a lot of folks may have written off Linn-Mar in their first season under Dwayne Orr, but the Lions have quietly fought back into playoff relevance. 3 straight wins, 118 points scored over the last 3 games, and at number 21 in the RPI, the Lions still could be playing for a playoff spot next Friday night if they can beat Cedar Falls, something only one team has been able to do this year. The Tigers have won 6 in a row since that 1-point loss to Liberty in week 1. Brad Rimmer, maybe one of the state's most underrated coaches. He's always got that team ready to roll. Cedar Falls has never had a losing record under Rimmer. First points don't come until the final minute of the first. Leighton Wolf drops back and lofts it to the back corner. Will Rimmer, a spectacular catch. 2 hands on it, 2 hands under it. 6 for the Tigers. They've got the lead, and they're driving in the second. Oh, but they put the ball on the turf. Holden Heidemann, get on that ball, 90. He's at the bottom of the pile for Linn-Mar. They drive right into the Tiger red zone. Oh, but now the Lions getting too loose with the handles. A fumble in turn, and Brady Keys picks it up and returns it near midfield. Ensuing drive. Check out the leg on Cale Harms. Lines this one up from 43 yards away. He had a lot of space left on that one. He's hit a couple from 40-plus this year. The Tigers had a 13-7 lead in the fourth quarter, but can you believe Linn-Mar does it again? Scored 21 points in the second half, 2 touchdowns in the final 32 seconds of the game. They're 4th in a row, and after an 0-4 start, Linn-Mar all of a sudden might just be a playoff team. We got a couple of Eastern Iowa teams down in Bettendorf tonight. A lot riding on these next two highlight reads. Kennedy and Bettendorf. Winner stays relevant. Loser is out of the playoff race. A good start for the Cougars. William Woodring finding Thierry Boyd. That is good for a first down, but the Cougs would stall out. Bettendorf on the board first. Ben Whipple. Kid hasn't been getting used all that much on offense this year, but he scores 2 touchdowns in the first half. Kennedy cannot get the job done on the road. They dropped to 3-5 this season, and their season will meet its conclusion next Friday night at Kingston Stadium against Dallas Center Grimes. Dubuque Senior has risen to number 14 in the RPI. A win tonight over Pleasant Valley might just lock down a playoff spot for the Rams, something they've only done 6 times in school history. First possession for PV. There's a fumble. Ball's on the ground. PV keeps it, but Porter Mogenberg drops him for the sack. Rams were down 10-0 to the Spartans, but the Schlosser show is trying to keep Senior in this game. Joey Schlosser to Teddy Schlosser, a 12-yard pickup and a first down. Joey Schlosser has been one of the most underrated players in 5A this year. The kid has got an arm. Puts it up 65 yards to Teddy again, but the offense could never get into the end zone. So they'll let the special teams do the work. After another PV score, Mekhi Marsh is back for the return, and this kid has his eyes on 6. This is only the second time getting his hands on a return this season, but it goes 95 yards for a touchdown. Not a lot of highlights tonight for the Rams, though. They lose by 31, and they will need a win next week against Prairie if they want a spot in the playoffs. A couple more 5A scores from around Eastern Iowa. Lonnie Moore's boys at Waterloo West holding serve against Marshalltown. 45-13 win at Memorial Stadium. The Wahawks' 5th win of the year, and they are on the verge of locking up a spot in the playoffs if they can beat Waukee next week. Two teams that won't factor into the playoff picture, Hempstead and Jefferson, just playing for some MVC pride late in the year. 94 combined points between the Mustangs and Jayhawks. This is just Hempstead's 2nd win of the season. Coming up after the break, the 2 best teams in Class 4A dropping the gloves at Saints Field. Xavier and Decorah with the number 1 playoff seed hanging in the balance. Mitch Fick has highlights from our game of the week. And after starting the year ranked number 1, all of a sudden Mount Vernon cannot afford any more losses if they're going to be a playoff team. Crucial 3A throwdown against Wahlert coming up on Eastern Iowa OT.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. Come on. Ready to move your feet. Here we go. Boom. And you hit it. It's not that difficult. We ain't that difficult. We're going to not put Huddy back. He's going to come down and he's going to play a joke or whatever. He's manning up 24. We still got to play red behind him.
In the climb to the top of the 4A mountain, you're going to have to take on all comers, district, non-district postseason, come what may. In the penultimate week of the regular season, Xavier and Decorah, ranked number 1 and 2 in the state. They meet at Saints Field, the top seed in the playoffs, likely hanging in the balance. Mitch Fick is at Saints Field with our game of the week.
Top two teams in 4A squaring off with the district title on the line. Doesn't get better than that in Week 8, and it almost doesn't get better than this first play for Decorah. Trevor Kennan averaging more than 9 yards a pop already. This will pump the numbers up. He's loose for a gain of 59. Big tackle, though, by Michael Bean to keep him out of the end zone. That's huge. Xavier holds him to a field goal attempt. They ain't getting that either. Saints taking over after the block. Ensuing drive, Cash Parks rolls right. Goes back left to a wide-open A.J. Evans. Going to hoop at James Madison. Awesome in the red zone, though, for now for the Saints. They are up 7-0. Later in the first, roll right, roll left, Parks to Ryan Kelly. Got all his friends leading the way for a big gainer there. The drive goes into the second quarter and sets up this. Right, left again, but check it out. Carter Hoffman with the halfback pass to Parks. They're getting tricky at Saints Field. 14-zip Saints, and that's all they really need. Later in the second, let that fullback eat. Dustin Cook just dragging dudes with him. Saints add on a couple Owen Vasquez field goals to wrap up the half. Xavier wins the district and goes to 8-0 there at Mason City next Friday. Decorah now 6-2, heading home to host Waverly Shell Rock in Week 9. From Saints Field, Mitch Fick, Eastern Iowa OT.
Boy, the Xavier team looking a lot like a potential 4A state champion. Got a couple more scores from Class 4A to get to. Western Dubuque, again, they started the year 0-2, but now have won 6 games in a row. 54-0, they beat Clinton in Epworth tonight. And Waverly Shell Rock getting close to the end of the regular season for them, trying to prove that they deserve a spot in the 4A postseason. 56-7, they beat Waterloo East. Before the season, every imaginable publication had Mount Vernon ranked number 1 in Class 3A. This was supposed to be the Mustang team that took the state by storm, but entering Week 8, Mount Vernon is coming off its second loss of the year, dropping to 11th in the RPI and hosting the defending state champions. Mount Vernon cannot afford any more losses, otherwise they'll have a massive uphill climb in the postseason. And Wahlert, after graduating a ton of seniors from that championship team, they are nothing to mess with. Lock down home field advantage with another couple of wins, possibly. Midway through the first, no score, a little misdirection to wideout Anderson. Herbst bursts through a hole. No one's touching this kid. 81 yards to the house. Gives the Golden Eagles a 7-0 lead. Mount Vernon, they do respond. Kellen Haverback, the future Drake football player, throws a dart to the sideline to Holden Lavacek with a big first down. Mustangs are rolling. Later in the drive, though, 4th and goal, and watch this throw and catch. Haverback to the corner of the end zone, bobbled, but caught by Tommy Rombert for the score. Not up the game. 30 seconds before half, Wahlert's J.P. Elbert rolls left, zips one over to Herbst for the Golden Eagles touchdown. Crucial score as Wahlert wins this one by 2, 23-21 to improve to 6-2 overall. And unfortunately for Mount Vernon, that loss is not doing them any favors. Over in Van Horn, the first meeting between West Delaware and Benton since 2015. Hawks are 7-0, closing in on a perfect regular season. West Del comes out swinging. Third play from scrimmage. Austin Schneiders with a keeper from midfield. He dupes the defense all the way for the score. Hawks out to a 7-0 lead. Next, West Del drive. They convert 2 4th downs, but the third time doesn't work for him. Slips out of the receiver's hands as they turn it over on downs. But after Benton comes up empty, Hawks are in the red zone again, and they convert this time. Jack Cantwell, yes, he can. Doubles up the lead to 14-0, and the men from Manchester keep the pedal to the metal. Cantwell at the goal line, he's going to fumble the ball into the end zone. But I think he's the one who recovers this ball for the touchdown. So now the Hawks are out to a 21-0 lead. We go to the closing seconds of the first half. Benton trying to get something on the board. Carson Nolan unleashed the beast. A dime down the field to Brody Timmerman. West Del 21-6 lead at halftime. And as the rain started to fall in the third, Nolan runs it in to cut into the Hawks' lead. But West Delaware, they keep the foot on the gas down the stretch. 42-20. They are now 8-0 with a 1-2 matchup against Clear Lake coming next Friday night. Elsewhere in Class 3A, Solon, still perfect this year. That Mount Pleasant team really surprising a lot of people this year. They were a top 10 team coming into this thing, but Solon, still too much for them. 35-0 the final, and Independence playing for their playoff life, too. On the road in Iowa Falls against the fighting Nick Collisons. Indy with a 35-0 win over the Cadets. When we come back, the final week of the regular season for the boys playing small ball. Alburnett's going to be in the postseason, but can they put up some more big numbers at home in the regular season finale? The two teams have been untouchable over their first 7 games. Wapsie Valley and North Lynn, Brooks McCallum versus Jake Hilmer. Somebody's going to score a couple of home playoff games with a win tonight. That's when we return on Eastern Iowa OT.
Brody. Just a little bit. Right there. Yes, on the number. Hey, I'm going to hold you. Until we see where they put the ball, whether we're going to go rocket or laser, all right? Hey, either way, field the ball, right? Let's go. Here we go. Let's go.
Tonight is the night. Last chance to prove yourself if you're playing 2A to 8-man ball. Teams on the bubble lose and your season's done. Teams like Alburnett, with one of the best running backs in Iowa, a chance to maybe climb up the playoff rankings and secure a couple of home games in the postseason. Folks over at the Martin Complex in Alburnett would love to see their boys back at home come next Friday night in the first round of the playoff football in 2A. The Buccos have got a 13-0 lead in the second quarter. Looks like they're rolling until Anamosa all of a sudden. After punting it away, Alburnett muffs it. Colt Niebergall down there on the ground, wrapping his mitts around it. And then Anamosa, they let it rip. Riley Shaw, shock and awe to Hudson Welton for the touchdown. That's Welton's first score of the season, and the Blue Raiders are back within 6. Later in the second quarter, Anamosa's back in the red zone. Riley Shaw putting the Shaw in shotgun. Takes off from the 8-yard line, and he's into the end zone. They made the extra point, so Anamosa has a 14-13 lead. Now it's time for the home team to hit him with a dose of Lake and Caves. The kid leads Class 2A with over 1,800 all-purpose yards. Second in rushing yards, a junior who's going to be getting a lot of looks next year inside the 10-yard line. Brady Kasner throws it across the field to Caves. The land of the free and the home of the Caves. His 17th offensive touchdown of the year. That kid's incredible. 268 yards on the ground tonight, 20 unanswered points in the second half. Caves and the Pirates in the regular season with a W. You're likely to see them back at their home field next Friday night. Elsewhere in Class 2A, great top 10 matchup between West Branch and Bellevue, and the Bears go on the road and hand the Comets their first loss of the year, 43-20, with the district title hanging in the balance. That means West Branch is the district champion in 2A. And Mid-Prairie, number 6 in the state at this point of the year, on the road, a 59-0 shutout of West Burlington. Over in Lisbon, some rebuilding to do under first-year coach Alex Dean. The Lions on the verge of a winless season and a tough way to end the regular season, hosting a Beckman team ranked 8th in 1A. Not a lot of crazy numbers, but the Blazers are finding ways to win. Good special teams will help you win. Opening kickoff, this goes to Jack Wessels, a huge hole through the middle of the field. Just a kicker to beat, and this cut will get the job done. House call for the Blazers, taking a 7-0 lead. First real drive now for Beckman. QB Brady Gogol on 4th and 9. No one's open, and the swarm of Lions bring him down for the sack. But Beckman, they get the ball back quick, and it's a quick pitch to Abraham Smith. Father Abraham has the blockers, and he hits the edge. Nobody's catching him. Blazers double their lead to 14-0. Later in the first, Mac Wolf, wow, great name, gets the ball up the middle and bursts through the line for a 46-yard pickup. He's going to get tackled inside the 5-yard line. And on the next play, Wolf finishes a drive off. Beckman scores again on the ground. Blazers win this thing 63-0, and they're 8-1 now this year. Elsewhere in Class 1A, Grundy Center closing out the regular season in perfection. 49-0 shutout at home against Eagle Grove. Their 47th straight win. 3 more wins, and they would be the 3rd team in Iowa history with a 50 consecutive game win streak. And Regina doing what they do. 42-0 shutout of Louisa Muscatine tonight. With the way Iowa's playoff system works, being a top 4 team is critically important in the playoff race. If you're a top 4 team, you can guarantee yourself home field advantage all the way to the Unidome. But even if you slip to the 5 spot, you've probably got to go to at least one road game in front of you. So tonight's regular season finale between Wapsie Valley and North Linn will weigh heavy in the playoff shakedown. 2 7-0 teams ranked 5 and 6 in Class A. The winner will likely vault up to that number 4 ranking. Since week 1, neither team has played a game decided by fewer than 2 possessions. Lynx and Warriors have dominated all comers. But the Lynx did not reckon with this Wapsie Valley team. Going right down the field in the first quarter, Hunter Curley, he is a star out of that Warrior backfield. Falls across the goal line, and it's 6-0 out in Fairbank. North Lynn's trying to answer, but Will Sommerfeld, he's been so good for the Lynx all year, but here he's going to get picked off by Caden Dana, and Dana has nothing but green pastures in front of him. Takes it all the way back to put Wapsie up 13-0. After another Lynx 3 and out, the Warriors are down on the 2-yard line. Shades of Philly. Caleb Hogan getting pushed across the goal line. Battle of Unbeatens turning into a blowout of Unbeatens. Final drive before halftime. Hogan in the mood to give Carver Shares his first touchdown catch of the year. 27-0 at the break. Cardi B's favorite team, Wapsie Valley. That's a squad that's got to get moved up to the top 4. 42-0 beatdown to close out the regular season. A few 8-man scores as they're closing out the regular season. Gladbrook Rhinebeck 55-2. That might just be 8-player scoregami we're seeing out in Prairie tonight. In Iowa Valley, they moved their game up to 6 o'clock tonight, maybe trying to avoid some of the weather that was possibly coming into the area. 60-20, they beat Waco, and they are going to be a top 4 team heading into the postseason. We are dusting our hands of the regular season in the smaller classes. We might have some time for postseason projections, or maybe not. We'll see if I've been talking too much tonight, but stay around for a look ahead of the postseason and our Week 8 Play of the Week. Still plenty more to come on Eastern Iowa OT. Plays of the week do not always have to come from the winning sideline, evidenced by tonight's best play coming out of Bettendorf, that senior Pleasant Valley game. Really impressive work here by the Rams return man, Mekhi Marsh. Again, this kid only had one kick return before tonight. Usually it's Teddy Schlosser who has his hands on the ball, but Mekhi makes magic. From his own 5-yard line, he goes 95 yards for the touchdown, a score that would hold little bearing on the final outcome as senior would lose by a lot. They now have a crucial game coming next Friday night against Prairie. And speaking of crucial games, we do have the playoff picture already lined up. We don't know the pairings quite yet, who's going to play who, but the district results are out right now. In Class 2A, District 5 we have right here. A lot of really good teams in District 5. West Branch, of course, they beat Bellevue tonight, so that was the outcome that ended up deciding the district title. So the Bears are the district champs. Bellevue as well, going to host a playoff game. Alburnett probably going to be at home next week. They just beat Anamosa, who also is going to be in the playoff picture. Class 1A, District 5, we have Beckman and Cascade getting in there. In District 6, Regina, a perfect regular season. They're in the playoff picture. District 3, you can see over on the left side of the screen. Grundy Center, perfect regular season, as we know already. District 4, 4 local teams getting in. Hudson, Columbus Catholic, Union, a year after they've been left out of the playoff picture, they get in. Jessup is in as well out of District 4. Thanks again for joining us on Eastern Iowa OT. We have playoff football coming next Friday night. A magical time of the year. We'll see you then.